Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? How are you? Good morning, good day. Um, man, weekend's getting here. It's getting closer. I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna make it, guys. Um, it's Thursday. We've got Little Nightmares 2 slated for today. We played Little Nightmares 1 yesterday. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Cool little title. We will play through Little Nightmares 2 today. We should get the entire game finished, outside of any unforeseen circumstances. So that's the play. We're going to push hard, get Little Nightmares 2 taken care of, and then work our way into Scorn tomorrow. Really excited to start Scorn. That's going to be a cool time, I hope. We've been looking forward to that game for quite a while. Been keeping up with the development process behind it, and been looking forward to playing that this Scaretober ever since we learned earlier this year that it was going to be dropping in October. So I'm ready. I'm ready for tomorrow. But not until we get Little Nightmares 2 done, right? So it's good to see you guys. Hope everything's going well. Hope your day's going well. Let's go ahead and get over here and do what we do. Let's get into this video gaming news segment first, all right? Let's go. Go. Check this out. Check this wildness out. Science has wrought a lab-grown gamer brain that plays Pong. Wild. That's kind of wild. Let's see if we've got. It looks like we've got some new news on the front of what might be coming to PS Plus subscription service. We've already seen what games were coming from their initial release for this month, which was good titles. Injustice 2, Super Hot, and Hot Wheels Unleashed, right? But the big question was like, where are the Halloween vibe games at? So let's take both of these games coming to PS Plus Extra and Premium in October. See if there's anything new there. And then it looks like a bunch of AC games are going to come to PS Plus as well. So we'll take a look at that. This this is wild, dude. I just can't, you know. Talking about this article keeps coming up and it's driving me crazy. Video games may trigger rare heart attacks in kids. Yo, it's random mode time. Let's go. Video games can trigger a rare heart attack in anybody that has any kind of undiagnosed, untreated, heart condition. Literally any kind of activity in the world can trigger a cardiac event in a human that has an underlying issue with their heart that has not been treated. So, way to go ahead and blame video games for something else. You know what I mean? So stupid. I said it. Come at me. Yo, random mode. Let's go. Korean gaming developer Lionheart is the latest to shelve IP. Let's take a look at that. We've already got this. This is going to be kind of wild to read about. We got a Kotaku article up about that. So, ooh, Intel reportedly set to lay off thousands. What? Due to a downturn in the PC gaming market. Wizards of the Coast launches a new studio, Invoke Games. Didn't they just open another studio as well? What was the name of the one they just opened? It wasn't Invoke. Does it seem like it had something to do with a key or something? I don't know. They'll probably tell us in this article. Let's see what's going on there. To be fair, Wizards of the Coast has not had a fantastic track record as of late with some of their titles, so hopefully they're turning that around. Even if every Call of Duty player switched to Xbox, what is this? Microsoft says PlayStation would remain significantly larger. Let's see what kind of if they're basing this on any kind of actual statistics or anything. Let's take a look into that. We just keep diving further and further down into this rabbit hole of PlayStation versus Xbox in regards to this acquisition, Activision Blizzard acquisition. Ubisoft Project U footage leaks ahead, online ahead of reveal. No more Heroes games finally getting a fix on Steam. Todd Howard. All right. We get to hear from Todd Howard how everything just works in Starfield's persuasion system. Let's take a look at that. I want to pull this up. PlayStation Plus adding over 20 new PS5, PS4 games in 2022. We're going to put this with the articles we already have up for PS Plus. That way we read all of these together. And we can avoid rehashing out content in regards to PS Plus potentially there. Smelling in VR environment possible with new gaming technology. Yeah, I mean, look, the more this is what VR is about, right? VR is about taking immersion to the next level. What is going on? Hold on, guys. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, VR. I mean, we talk about this a lot. Whether in regards to whether it be like haptic feedback of things you can wear or a chair you sit in or anything that you would be strapped into for sensations. Any basically the more senses that can be immersed in the virtual environment, the better for where we are going with this kind of technology, right? I mean, it also presents a kind of a scary situation, very Matrix-esque, if you will, you know. But at the same time, that's the whole point in what the incorporation, the invention of VR was in the first place was to present us a more immersive experience, and along with that, we knew that eventually there were going to be a lot of technological evolution that came along with that to create different kinds of sensations and incorporating, smells and things like that to go along with these uh, pieces of software. So we'll see what they have to offer here. Witchfire revamping the combat system. What is this? Okay, Witchfire revamping the combat system pushed to early 2023. Okay, take a look at that. God dang, dude. I can't stop, dude. With how many news outlets hop on this like bandwagon every single time any news outlet comes up with some kind of way to blame video games for something, all these other news outlets hop on that bandwagon and do the same thing. Right now, it's like, oh, video games are bad because they can cause. I mean, we've seen it over like the past week. You see it right here. Here's another. Here it is. Here it is again. Video games can cause heart attacks in youth, in young individuals that play video games. You should probably just keep them away from video games, guys. Okay, because sudden spike of adrenaline playing these games, that kid's done basically. All right. I mean, they don't really stand a chance. Okay. Um, when really what it comes down to is that anything in the world that can induce or be the catalyst behind a sudden spike of adrenaline and getting somebody's heart pumping can result in somebody having a cardiac event resulting in potential death if they have an underlying issue that hasn't been treated. But here it is, video games being blamed for something else, man. Obviously, video games are immersive and they can result in an elevated heart rate. So, yeah, if somebody has some kind of underlying issue that hasn't been diagnosed and treated, there's the potential there. Just like with anything else in life, dude. But why are video games being, blamed for it? It's just so stupid and asinine. Gamer, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Let's pull this up. Wizards of the Coast. We got two Wizards of the Coast. We'll read these together too. Make sure we're not covering identical information there in those articles. So the other article was about specifically a new studio they have set up. This is in regards to a new Dungeons and Dragons game they have in development. So we'll take a look. They could coincide there pretty well though. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I know. It drives me nuts. I can't help it. I can't help it. I think the thing that's so bad about it, I mean, again, what I was talking about is like, it's not. It's how dumb it is it really is an asinine thing that we have to see it all the time. And it's like we'll get a break of like a month and a half before some other news, organization comes out blaming video games for something else, and then all these other organizations jump on that same exact bandwagon, and it's like, God, just stop, man. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I tend to keep addressing it though, is because I feel like too often there are individuals that just consume everything they read as factual, or they don't necessarily always take a look at thinking critically about what they're reading and if that is an actuality. And while yes, they're not wrong about that concept, it's not just video. I mean, it's life in general that can cause those things to happen, right? So they're blaming something minuscule in the grand scheme of what life offers that can, be the catalyst behind those events, and that's really dumb. So, the reason I address it on the constant whenever I continue to see it is to hopefully help people take a more critical look at, these kinds of things and not just consuming everything that's fed to them in, the news that they see. We've got this up already. Xbox slams PlayStation trolls in viral tweet. Let's go, dude. All right. Players can transfer their Cyberpunk saves from Stadia. That's good. That Google's trying to help people. Not only are they refunding people, because again, if you haven't heard, Stadia is shutting down in February. They are refunding people as well as trying to help find ways for people to convert their save progress over to other platforms. That's great. Oh, dude. John Carpenter still wants to make a Dead Space movie. A really good Dead Space movie could be sick. But a bad Dead Space movie would piss off a lot of people, I think. Pilot Wings 64 is now available on Switch Online. We knew that was going to be coming, and apparently is ready now. Multiverses update adds Stripe from Gremlins. Let's go. We'd seen a little bit. Dude, we got a lot of news today. We had seen a little bit about this kind of thing previously, but Disco Elysium and ZAUM's controversy explained. Let's see if we can get a bit better of a summary about what happened in regards to this development studio here. What we found was that there were at least a few key developers behind the studio that created Disco Elysium that involuntarily were ousted from the company. I think at the end of last year. And it wasn't super clear as to why that happened, but maybe this will give us a little bit better of an idea of what went down. We'll see. Midnight Suns announced awesome pre-order. Take a look at that. Pokemon Sword and Shield announces new mythical what? Distribution event. Okay. Look, man, I'm not going to page 3. We have a lot of articles up this morning. I'm not going to page 3. We're going to stick with this, okay? One second. Check something. Sorry. One moment. Okay. I think we're all right. Apologies. Keep moving. Let's go. Let's get into these articles. Let's go. Xbox slams PlayStation trolls in viral tweet. Since the days of the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, gamers have constantly been at war with one another over their preferred video game consoles. That long-standing tradition continues in the modern era with PlayStation and Xbox fans, often on social media. Not a day goes by where the official Xbox Twitter account doesn't post an innocuous tweet only for the company's social media person to be inundated with replies such as PlayStation better. Yeah. Xbox has now clapped back against the haters with a viral tweet framed like a Halloween meme that's currently making the rounds. The meme pokes fun at the tradition of inspecting a child's candy before eating it on Halloween. In those circumstances, the adult is supposed to be searching for something dangerous like razor blades. The meme replaces it with something silly. In this case, the candy bar Xbox shared is filled with tweets saying, PlayStation's better. The tweet from Xbox can be found embedded below. Please check your candy this year. We found troll posts in ours, and they won't stop repeating the same thing over and over. Dude, that is actually very well played. Oh, right on. Really? You can't find a physical copy of it anywhere? Wild. That's weird. Is digital just a non-option? That's a huge game. That's probably one of the reasons why physical would be a better play. The physical edition of that game would save a lot of space probably. I think the digital version of that game is like massive. Talking like somewhere between 150 gigs to 200 gigs or something. I think. I can't remember. Let's see real quick. Oh, that's it. Wait, what? That's it? It was the PS4 version that was so large. It was like 100 gigs. Okay, so it's not super. Yeah, it's like 44 gigs, but that's probably not including any kind of like DLC and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. You might just prefer physical, and that's fine. I understand that as well. Yeah, I mean the game is absolutely noted for being a great visual experience. I think that wasn't ever a big issue for anybody. It was everything else about that title, you know. While there were visual glitches and things like that that came along with that release, it was um, a lot of the gameplay and the game breaking bugs and everything were really what were terrible about it, you know. But it is supposed to be a very beautiful game. Yeah, this is hilarious. Of course, Xbox isn't actually targeting PlayStation fans with the tweet, just the trolls that incessantly feel the need to share their system of preference on social media. While it can be fun to joke around about which platform is better, the truth is that Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC all have their own strengths and weaknesses. Over the years, each platform has carved out a distinct niche, allowing users to find a system that best suits their wants and needs. Not everyone can afford multiple game platforms, but there's a reason that many gamers choose to do so if they can, yeah? While the tweet above won't stop users from trolling on social media, hopefully it will illustrate just how silly the whole console debate is. It really is. No one's mind is going to change because someone tweeted PlayStation's better. But there are social media employees that do have to deal with these comments on a daily basis. Fans might want to keep that in mind before responding. Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a lot. Whether you're talking about console wars or the, you know, CPU fan base and, you know, Intel's better versus AMD's better. There's this kind of stuff everywhere, you know. Same thing with automakers. You know, you get those people that are big, you know, auto aficionados, and they've got this specific automaker that they think is just head head and shoulders above any other manufacturer, and they can never do anything wrong. And that's why a lot of people get as well. But it's very well stated. I mean, in this article, and I talk about it a lot. Um, you know, each kind of console absolutely has its own pros and cons. We talk about them a lot. in this community and in the news segments quite often as well. Oh, cool, Tabo. What's up, buddy? Hey, man. Good to see you, dude. The big thing for me right now is just how off-putting a lot of what PlayStation's been doing comes off. You know, there's a lot, and traditionally, if I was going to buy into a console, it was always PlayStation. But I'm really, really, really leaning away from PlayStation nowadays, just because of a lot of the things I've seen of recent are very concerning in my mind about where Sony and Sony's PlayStation is headed. And so, if I was going to, I mean, I'm obviously primarily a PC gamer, but I have plenty of old consoles. I've got a Switch, and I haven't bought into any of the new consoles yet. But I honestly, up until probably about a year ago, really thought that I would probably end up buying a PS5 at some point, and I don't think that's going to be the case for me any longer. I really don't. Everything that I've been finding out about PlayStation is just really, really putting a bad taste in my mouth for that company, and I don't see me going with PlayStation for the foreseeable future, just because of everything I've been seeing. So, on the other hand, everything I'm seeing from Xbox makes me really, really interested in possibly buying an Xbox in the future. Wildly enough, I've stayed away from Xbox stuff for quite a long time now, because I haven't had a great history with their products experience. But I like what I see coming out of Xbox, so I don't know, man. Kind of weird. This is actually hilarious, though. Players can now transfer Cyberpunk 2077 saves from Stadia to other platforms. CD Projekt details the save transfer process ahead of Stadia's shutdown. Stadia is shutting down in February, guys. By following this guide linked in this article, players can transfer their save files to PC using Google Takeout. They will then have the option to use cross-progression on any of the PC platforms and sync it with a GOG account to transfer their progress to consoles. Cool, man. Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft, Destiny studio Bungie, and Hitman developer IO Interactive also recently confirmed that they're working on ways to transfer player accounts from Stadia titles. Google announced last week it plans to shut down Stadia in early 2023. I think they've given a definitive date of early February. Stadia's general manager Phil Harrison admitted the service hadn't gained the traction with users the company expected following its launch in November of 2019. Google will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all game and add-on content purchases made through the Stadia Store, Harrison said. It's January 18th. Players will continue to have access to their games library and be able to play through January 18th. So January 18th, excuse me. That's when Stadia will be dead, okay? But shout out to Google for refunding people and trying to work with developers on finding ways to get game saves transferred out to other platforms. That's good on them, man. John Carpenter still wants to make a Dead Space movie. Horror legend John Carpenter is big on video games, as many will know, and recently he talked about some of his favorite games of the year. As part of that conversation, he once again reiterated his desire to make a movie adaptation of Dead Space. It's something he's said in the past, and just like last time, it's something that those fond of the franchise would probably love to see happen as well. Carpenter's latest comments on the would-be Dead Space movie were shared during a discussion with AV Club, where he talked about Halloween Ends, video games, and more. Given Carpenter's extensive movie credits and his lean towards games, he was asked what game he'd like to adapt into a movie. Quote, "The only one I can think of, and I've mentioned it before, is Dead Space," Carpenter said. "That would make a real great movie. I could do that." In a Game Informer issue from 2013, Carpenter said that he'd love to make a Dead Space movie. His comments at the time were more focused on the first game, where players first take control of protagonist Isaac Clarke and encounter the necromorph threat. But in his more recent conversation with AV Club, he attested that he likes all of the Dead Space games, including Dead Space 3, a game which was not received quite as well as the others by fans. Quote, well, any of them were really good, he added. I even liked the last one, the action one that nobody else liked. While a Dead Space movie from Carpenter might not happen anytime soon, there are at least Dead Space adaptations out there like the animated movies Dead Space Downfall and Dead Space Aftermath. Shout out Tinwin informed me of those, and I started watching Downfall. They do feel a bit dated, but good content. I still haven't even finished all of Downfall yet, though. Of course, there's also the remake of Dead Space that's coming out in January, which will allow players to revisit the USG Ishimura once more in an entirely new way. Yeah. Yeah, and if that's not enough, those fond of the franchise can perhaps sate their appetite with the Callisto Protocol when it releases in December. Yeah, if you're not familiar, Callisto Protocol is actually in... I think it's releasing December 2nd. Somewhere right around there. And Callisto Protocol is very, very Dead Space-esque. As if you watch the trailer, as we have many times in this channel and in the news segments, you will see how very similar the Callisto Protocol looks to Dead Space games. And a lot of that is due to the fact that Callisto Protocol is actually being developed by the same head designer, lead developer and everything of the Dead Space games. So, there you go. I would love to see a very good adaptation of Dead Space turned into a movie. That'd be great. Pilot Wings 64 now available on Nintendo Switch Online. Subscribers to Nintendo Switch's online expansion pack can now access Pilot Wings 64. The game marks the 19th retro Nintendo 64 title made available through the service. Last week, Nintendo announced that the game was supposed to release on October 13th, but the company has a habit of releasing these types of updates a few hours early. That's a very good thing for fans that were looking forward to revisiting Pilot Wings 64 and those that plan to check it out for the very first time. Pilot Wings 64 was originally released as a launch title for the 64. The game marked one of just 2 titles that were available that day alongside Super Mario 64. While Mario 64 has been offered on a number of different consoles over the years, today's release marks the first time that Pilot Wings has been made available again. The flight sim has never been as popular as some of the Nintendo 64's other games, but now a new generation will get a chance to judge it for themselves. Following the release of Pilot Wings, fans can likely expect to see Mario Party in November and Mario Party 2 in December. In 2023, subscribers will have a number of exciting releases to look forward to, including several Nintendo 64 games that have never been offered since their original releases. Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium, and Pokemon Stadium 2 all fit that criteria, but the biggest example is GoldenEye 007. GoldenEye is one of the most influential games ever made, but legal hurdles have prevented its re-release for more than 2 decades. Thankfully, those legal issues have been resolved by Nintendo and Xbox, allowing the game to finally appear on both platforms. It remains to be seen exactly when the game will debut on Switch, and if new audiences will be able to appreciate the first-person shooter. But the Nintendo 64 app will have plenty of other exciting games to play in the meantime. Cool, man. There you go, Pilot Wings. And some good 64 games coming as well. Multiverses update adds Stripe from Gremlins Halloween event and more. A new Multiverses update officially goes live today and will add Stripe from Gremlins as a new playable character for the free-to-play platform Brawler. In addition to the new character, the video game from developer Player First Games and Warner Brothers will also add an upcoming Halloween event and cosmetics, big changes to the game's combo system, and more. Check out the full patch notes for Multiverses Open Beta Season 1.04 straight from the source below. I'm not going to read all of this, okay? It's a lot. There's a lot of balancing, okay? I will let everybody take a look at this. There's a new map. Stripe is getting added. They are having Halloween event from the 15th to the 15th of next month, where you earn candy by playing games against other players or bots. Earn extra candy by playing with Combat Stripe, Combat Gizmo, or other Halloween exclusive skins. And then you can... This gives you the earnings breakdown, and then you'll be able to exchange your candy in the candy shop for exclusive treats. Profile icon, emote sticker, epic variant of Mummy Rain Dog, and Calico Cake epic variant. Or exchange for gold, cosmetics, Halloween cosmetics. There's all kinds of stuff. So here, this is in chat. If you want to read more about the patch, but that's the gist of it, right? But if you want the details, it's right there in chat, okay? Why Disco Elysium fans are worried for the game's future. Yeah, once I read an article a couple of weeks ago in our news segment, I also became very, very concerned. Disco Elysium developer ZAUM has deviated from its origins, shedding its founders and disappointing fans. Here's what to know about the controversy. After Disco Elysium premiered in 2019 and the subsequent release of an improved version called Disco Elysium The Final Cut in 2021, the isometric investigation action title received overwhelmingly positive reviews praising the game. We're going to play it in the near future. I've got it all ready to roll. It is supposed to be a fantastic game. For its Dungeons and Dragons style of gameplay, captivating story, and most importantly, the dialogue and narration that smoothly navigate and discuss the different political and philosophical themes of the proceedings. With this new spotlight and attention, ZAUM became known across the industry, including to greedy investors. After some quiet, a TV series adaptation of Disco Elysium was announced in 2020. This collaboration would see ZAUM work with DJ2 Entertainment, known for producing the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. It was going to be funded by Amazon. This event was polarizing for the Disco Elysium fanbase, as they were unsure if DJ2 and Amazon could do the game justice, while others claimed that it was going to be amazing. While fans tolerated this odd yet acceptable TV show adaptation, another controversy would come and demolish all respect gamers had developed for ZAUM. On October 1st of this year, ZAUM member Martin Luiga announced that he, Alexander Kurvitz, Robert Rostov, and Helen Hinpier have involuntarily left ZAUM. See, we saw something about this previously. Yeah, like I said, around the time, the beginning of the month, we read about this, but we weren't really sure. It wasn't super clear why this happened. Quote, ZAUM Cultural Association has officially dissolved, meaning that the original founders of ZAUM are no longer involved in developing a Disco Elysium sequel. To add insult to injury, ZAUM also announced a job position for someone that specializes in sales. I got you, Tabo. I'll get you, dude. I'll get you. Sales and monetization during the same week of the dissolution. This job opening implied a season pass or loot box, inciting rumors of greedy directors firing the founding members that formulated the ZAUM culture and making fans furious and upset. In response, the company stated, like any video game, the development of Disco Elysium was and still is a collective effort, with every team member's contribution essential and valued as part of a greater whole. At this time, we have no further comment to make other than the ZAUM Creatives team's focus remains on the development of our next project, and we are excited to share more news on this with you all soon. This statement was shared on social media with ZAUM disabling comments and shares, showcasing this letter was most likely a template response. Currently, fans are simultaneously furious and sad about the current state of the video game industry. While gamers rushed to support the original creators, not a lot was accomplished. Rumors show that Robert Kurvitz is planning to take the company to court in November. However, nothing is confirmed. Oof, that's rough, dude. Hate to see that. Yeah, that feels so bad. I mean, how often we talk about like the things in the industry, the greed that just overtakes everything that outside of, obviously everybody knows that the gaming industry is built upon businesses and what businesses are, but going hand in hand with that, what video games are inherently have always been something that allow people to immerse themselves in, have fun, and there's so many examples of these developers that have lost touch of what the core of video games are for people, their fan base, their consumers. And they have been just so consumed by greed that, we talk about it all the time. It always feels bad to see it happen. And it looks like this is just going to be another one of those examples of what everybody thought was going to be a developer we could potentially rely on to see some great content come for quite a while out of what we saw with Disco Elysium. And I'm still really excited to play that title because it's supposed to be amazing. And all of a sudden, all this news has come out, and I think everybody is pretty skeptical about anything that we'll see come out of ZAUM moving forward. Unfortunately, feels bad. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell, but this does not look good. Doesn't look good. Nope. Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Now that we're friends, is it okay if I pet you?
Thanks, dude.
OutsiderAntics gifted Tibo a subscription. OutsiderAntics gifted
you,
a tier 1 sub to Tibo.
Marvel's Midnight Suns announced awesome pre-order exclusive Iron Man Funko. Well, I'm gonna message you on Discord real quick, dude. Or I'll message you after the news. So Marvel's Midnight Suns announced awesome pre-order exclusive Iron Man Funko. Receive an Iron Man Funko Pop with in-store or online purchase of physical copy of Legendary or Enhanced Edition. Marvel Games and 2K just unveiled a new pre-order bonus for Marvel's Midnight Suns that will make you question if you should pre-order from GameStop. 2K Games officially revealed that if you purchased either the Enhanced or Legendary Edition of Midnight Suns from GameStop, either in-store or online, you will receive a new Iron Man Midnight Suns Funko Pop. However, be aware the limited edition Funko will only be available until supplies last. Midnight Suns limited edition Funko Pop pre-order. According to 2K Games, the figure is currently available as a gift with purchase for GameStop customers who purchase a physical copy of the Legendary Edition or Enhanced Edition of Marvel's Midnight Suns from participating GameStop stores in the US and Canada. The design features stunning, intricate gold and black armor unique to Fireaxe's vision of the darker, more supernatural side of Marvel. In addition to the incredible Funko, the reveal also did help peel back the mystery of the upcoming card strategy game with the confirmation that those new iconic designs being shown in marketing are a new original concept, but also a blend of magic and Stark tech. 2K Games reveals the meaning behind the gold suits. During an interview with Gamer Braves, creative director Jake Solomon discussed what the player can expect with the new cosmetics. Still, there may be more to the assortment of iconic comic books and apparel. Quote, the suits are a blend of magic and Stark tech, giving the characters an edge against their enemies. They also allow those who can't battle with magic to have a chance against the game's supernatural foes. I think some of these look okay, and then I think some of these look actually not good. Specifically, dude, I think that Doctor Strange, I do not like Doctor Strange's outfit. I think it actually, I do not like it. I think it looks terrible. That's just me, but I don't know. Marvel's Midnight Suns is all about relationships and choices. According to Solomon, players can obtain these suits once they maxed out their friendship level with each hero. Many veterans of the strategy game genre may feel this may seem quite familiar. That's stated weirdly. And this mechanic lets the player know their choices will matter as the story progresses. So in simple terms, the more you connect and bond, your friendship level will give direction to more than a new suit, as it also gives players access to the powerful Midnight Sun ability. The execution and premise sounds good on paper. Still, fans feel that post-end game suits need to be rewardable and compensate the player for fulfilling side quests or go the extra mile to extend and flesh out replayability. From Solomon's comments, it does feel that 2K made sure to zone in on what makes an RPG stable and reflective of the player. It'll be interesting knowing the hunter is fully customizable. Players will have to weigh their choices carefully, while also understanding that Lilith's the main purpose of being a villain represents division among people, whereas the hunter, the player, can evolve by forming strong bonds, allowing your team to grow stronger. The suits will reflect this while giving a sense of achievement and gratitude to the gameplay experience. So, Midnight Suns officially slated to release later this year on December 2nd for the latest next-gen consoles consisting of PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Pre-order bonus is a Defender Doctor Strange cosmetic skin. Okay. Cool. Like, some of them look good. The Doctor Strange one specifically, dude, I do not enjoy, though. I don't think it looks good. I think a lot of it has to do with the hood. I don't know what it is. Him having a hood on does not look right to me. Pokemon Sword and Shield announces new Mythical distribution event. A new distribution event has been announced for Pokemon Sword and Shield, giving players the chance to acquire 3 mythical Pokemon: Genesect, Volcanion, and Marshadow. The first distribution event will take place at GameStop locations in the US and Canada. From October 16th through the 29th, Pokemon fans will be able to receive codes for Genesect and Volcanion from the video game retailer. The following day, the Marshadow distribution will begin at Target locations in the US and at GameStop once again in Canada. The event begins October 30th and will last through November 12th. While these distribution events theoretically give fans a bit of time to get over to a GameStop or Target location, stores have been known to run out of codes earlier than expected. That was the case for the recent Shiny Eternatus event. With codes disappearing pretty quickly, some fans even reported the codes were being snatched up by resellers to auction off on eBay. Genesect, Volcanion, and Marshadow probably won't be as sought after as that Shiny Eternatus, but fans eager to acquire these Pokemon should try doing so sooner rather than later. All 3 Pokemon in this distribution event are mythical Pokemon. In most cases, mythical Pokemon can only be obtained through events outside of the game itself. This tradition started with Mew in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow and has continued throughout the history of the franchise. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, the only way to add these types of Pokemon to Pokemon Sword and Shield or Pokemon Home is through these types of events. Since the Pokemon Company tends to hold distribution events sporadically, there's really no telling when players will get another crack at adding Genesect, Volcanion, and Marshadow to their games once this event comes to an end. If you guys need that information, I'm going to link this in here for you, okay? There you go. Witchfire revamping the combat system and is being pushed to early 2023, okay? The Astronauts, creators of Bulletstorm, announced their next project, Witchfire, is moving its release to early 2023. The delay due to the change of the combat system from an arena style to open world combat. Creative director Adrian, I would butcher that last name. Schmlers? Schmalars? I'm sorry. Shared some information on the reasoning for the change in that they wanted to give players more freedom and as a whole make the game just feel better. Growing up, I loved Bulletstorm, so I personally can't wait to see what this team has in store with Witchfire. Check out the Summer Game Fest trailer below. Yeah, let's take a look real quick. I butchered that name. I'm so sorry, Adrian. 1 second, guys. Sorry. One second. Sorry. I have to address something. Cool. Sorry, guys. I had to address something real quick. Okay, let's keep moving. Apologies. So, Witchfire pushed to early 2023. I'm sure we'll find out before too long if it's really going to be early 2023. We'll get some kind of definitive date in the near future. Yeah, smelling in VR, guys. Smelling in the VR environment. Possible with new gaming technology. An odor machine, a so-called olfactometer, makes it possible to smell in VR environments. First up is a wine tasting game where the user smells wine in a virtual wine cellar, gets points if the guess on aromas in each wine is correct. The new technology that can be printed on 3D printers has been developed in collaboration between Stockholm University and Malmö University. The research, funded by the Marian and Marcus Wallenberg Foundation, was recently published in the International Journal of Human Computer Studies. We hope that the new technical possibilities will lead to Sense having a more important role in game development, says Jonas Olofsson, professor of psychology and leader of the research project at Stockholm University. In the past, computer games have focused mostly on what we can see, moving images on screens. Other senses have not been present, but an interdisciplinary research group at Stockholm University and Malmö University has now constructed a scent machine that can be controlled by a gaming computer. In the game, the participant moves in a virtual wine cellar, picking up virtual wine glasses containing different types of wine, guessing the aromas. The small scent machine is attached to the VR system controller, and when the player lifts the glass, it releases a scent. The possibility to move on from a passive to a more active sense of smell in the game world paves the way for the development of completely new smell-based game mechanics based on the player's movements and judgments, says Simon Niedenthal, interaction and game researcher at Malmö University. The olfactometer consists of 4 different valves, each connected to a channel. In the middle, there is a fan sucking the air into a tube. With the help of the computer, the player can control the 4 channels that they open to different degrees, provide different mixtures of scents. Scent blends can mimic the complexity of a real wine glass. The game has different levels of difficulty with increasing levels of complexity. All code, blueprints, and instructions for the machine are openly available online, as is code for the virtual wine tasting game. The research group Sensory Cognitive Interaction Laboratory, which is located at the Department of Psychology, Stockholm University, now hopes that scented computer games can become useful for other purposes. Smell training is a method recommended by doctors for those who lose their sense of smell after colds and other viruses. According to Jonas Olofsson, many people stop training because it becomes too boring. According to Simon Niedenthal, open source leads to promoting accessibility, reproducibility, and comparison of results in research. It also contributes to creating a cohesive research, a design community within the game development field. We believe in open science, that research results should be made available to the public, and that other researchers should be able to repeat our results. With the help of our research, others can build scent machines and explore new ways of using scents in games, says Jonas Olofsson. The technology for the olfactometer has been developed by Peter Lundin, research engineer at Stockholm University and member of the research team at SCI Lab. That's incredible. I mean, we knew this kind of thing was going to be coming, but to see it coming to fruition is pretty wild. Information about a new game in development from Ubisoft has leaked online. The game has been codenamed Project U and will offer some type of online co-op experience. Footage of the game was shared in the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit following a playtest conducted by the company. At this time, the game seems to be in very early development, and Ubisoft was hoping to receive feedback on its efforts. Information on the game was first shared by Reddit user Just4Leaks2, who says it does not seem to be a Battle Royale game, and Ubisoft is not sure yet whether it will be free to play. The original Reddit post can be found right here. While some of the videos of Project U have been removed, others are still available online. For a game early in development, the graphics are pretty impressive. The game's executive producer is Damien Kaiken, its producer is Carl Liu, while Carmen Carballo is serving as its concept artist. Some have pointed out that Ubisoft might be less likely to do these kinds of playtests in the future after seeing this footage leaked, but others have also said that this might help the publisher get more feedback than it would have otherwise. It's unclear if these leaks will have any kind of impact on the final game. The snippet of footage shared by Just4Leaks2 isn't much to go on, and a lot can change during a game's development cycle. Ubisoft has a tendency to let some games cook a lot longer than others. Yeah, basically anything outside of Far Cry or Assassin's Creed is a pretty good chance of getting delayed numerous times. Games like Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2 have been seen a number of delays and restarts as Ubisoft continues to work behind the scenes. Skull and Bones has now seen 7 delays in 4.5 years. Beyond Good and Evil has just been indefinitely delayed forever and ever. So, for now, Ubisoft fans will just have to wait patiently to see what comes of Project U. However, given how early into development the game seems to be, it could be quite some time before we learn anything official. The fact that some of these videos are being taken down and everything, I am not going to look any of them up right now in the video gaming news segment because I'm afraid if we do, I'll get a DMCA. So we'll just stay out of it and just know that there's some stuff out there for Project U, and maybe go take a look, see what you can find if you're interested. Okay, there's the article right there in chat if you need it. No More Heroes games finally getting a fix on Steam. No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2 released on Steam back in June of last year, and fans weren't happy with the results. Many have accused publisher Xseed Games of releasing rushed ports of the Switch versions, particularly since images of the Joy-Con controllers can be seen. Achievements are also broken, and fans have discovered numerous bugs and crashes. Thankfully, it seems that an end could be in sight. Xseed Games posted a new update today, revealing that fixes are currently in the works. Today's update provides no timetable for these fixes, but reception has been positive regardless. The No More Heroes games have a passionate fan base, and it seems that people just really want to see the games fixed after all this time. Given that it's been more than a year since the 2 games debuted on Steam, it's somewhat surprising that it's happening at all. Yeah. Usually if a fix doesn't come within the first, something that feels that bad, especially a port that feels that bad, if you don't see a significant attempt from developers to fix it within the first couple of months there, usually they're not going to do much for it. No More Heroes first released on the Wii back in 2007. The game immediately developed a passionate following. The series has seen multiple sequels since. The final entry in the series, No More Heroes 3, released on Switch last year, while creator Goichi Suda51 Suda recently hinted that he may decide to revisit the series in the future. Could be quite some time before that happens. For now, fans will have to settle for the games currently available, and that will be much easier if Xseed can get the first 2 games running properly on Steam. At least it looks like they're going to make an attempt there. Hopefully sooner rather than later. It's already taken too long. Todd Howard, reveals Starfield's persuasion system. It feels like it's part of the dialogue. It just works. Bethesda Softworks executive producer Todd Howard shared more about the studio's upcoming outer space epic Starfield in a recent video chat, including a look at the game's persuasion system and whether or not he considers it hard sci-fi. Hard science fiction is in a very broad sense is sci-fi that commits heavily to scientific accuracy. The The definition is unavoidably subjective to some extent, but Kim Stanley Robertson's Aurora, for instance, takes great pains to think through stuff like soil composition, astrophysics, and chemistry in ways that impact the plot. Star Wars, on the other hand, doesn't go out of its way to explain lightsabers. In the case of Starfield, Howard said that, quote, it is more hard to us, but added that it's a video game first and foremost, and so concessions have to be made. Quote, we were really into fuel and how the gravity drive works, Howard says in the video, and I'm reading papers on quantum physics and bending space in front of you. And don't actually warp. You bend the space. You bring the space toward you. And so we were playing that, and it became very punitive to the player. Your ship would run out of fuel and the game would just stop. Because of that, developers recently changed the design so ships cannot run out of fuel. Instead, ships will be limited to how far they can travel in a single run. Howard also said the Starfield has gone back to a classic Bethesda-style dialogue system, albeit in a much larger scale than in previous games. More than 250,000 lines of dialogue in total, and with a revamped persuasion system. Howard previously touched on the persuasion system back in May, saying it, quote, feels like you're having a conversation where you're actually trying to persuade somebody of something. But this is the first time we've seen it in action. Quote, it feels like it's part of the dialogue, but you're spending points to persuade NPCs, Howard said. Feels natural, not like I've entered some other mode where we're not. I'm not doing regular dialogue. I'm in this mode of persuading you to get what I want. Starfield had been set to come out November 11th. Following a delay in May, is now expected out sometime in the first half of 2023 until they potentially delay it again. You know, it's the world we live in right now of AAA games. So, delay. Fat Pat, what's up, buddy? How you been, dude? Science has wrought a lab-grown gamer brain that plays Pong. An Australian scientist hopes gamer brain will help further research in treating Alzheimer's. We talk about this a lot. I've even done a significant paper on, the positive cognitive effects that playing like specifically real-time strategy games can have on the human brain and the brain functioning, cognitive functioning. And there's been a lot of research over the years in regards to different kinds of specific video games and just playing them for like an hour a day, roughly, even just 5 days a week, stuff like that. That can lead to significant improvements in certain disabilities, brain functioning, things of that nature. And research continues, man. Here we go. No, you didn't accidentally click on the webpage of our sister site, The Onion. A scientist really grew a brain in a lab, and unfortunately, it's a gamer. Oh, unfortunately, what? I think it's awesome. According to the BBC, Dr. Brett Kagan, the chief scientific officer at Australian research company Cortical Labs, assembled a small brain in a lab using stem cells from both human and embryonic mice, about 800,000 in total. The company's research paper claims the resulting neural network learned how to play a simulation of Atari's 1972 tennis game Pong. By connecting the lab brain to the Pong-like simulation using electrodes, Kagan et al. Claimed that the brain cells were able to learn how to play the game in just 5 minutes. Though it's still a noob that often misses, Kagan told the BBC that he hopes the results from the lab-grown brain will help further research in the treatment of Alzheimer's. Whoa. Yo, stop. Wait, hold on. Oh, this is just a minute long. Check it out. That's wild, dude. Synthetic brains, let's go. I'm going to get a synthetic brain. Let's go. No more 3-head for me. Just synthetic brain 5-head OA moving forward, guys. Let's go. When people look at tissues in a dish, at the moment they are seeing if there is activity or no activity. But the purpose of brain cells is to process information in real time. Kagan told the BBC, tapping into their true function unlocks so many more research areas that can be explored in a comprehensive way. Now that his team's forever corrupted the mind of the lab-grown brain into becoming a gamer, Kagan told the BBC that the next step is to test how alcohol affects his MLG Pro Pong skills. Oh no. That's right, beer pong for science. Bet you wish you paid attention in grade school. However, it's not all fun and gamer games for Kagan and his lab brain. According to the BBC, if the brain's inebriated performance is the same as when sober, the efficacy of Kagan's research will be underscored. So, no pressure, lab brain. Just be sure to shotgun some Pabst Blue Ribbon like a college student on a bender and you'll do fine. Probably. While the brainlet's learning how to play Pong is impressive, despite its no thumbs, having ass skills, some within the scientific community think Kagan is going a step too far in claiming the brain cells are sentient. Since that would imply that this petri dish spawn of mother brain has the capacity to feel. Quote, we could find no better term to describe the device, Kagan said. It is able to take in information from an external source, process it, and then respond to it in real time. Before you worry about this getting too creepy, Kagan told the BBC that his team will be working with bioethicists to ensure that their experiments don't accidentally develop consciousness. That's good. Well, I await a lab-grown brain entering the EVO tournament in a few years. Wow. Today's been a day of news. We've got lab-grown intelligence, biointelligence, not just like, we're not talking about like circuit boards and stuff. We're talking about bio-grown lab tissue that is playing a video game, albeit not like a super complex video game or anything, but still, that's pretty huge. We've also got other researchers that have come up with incorporating a system for VR that allows you to actually smell within the games and everything. Technology, it evolves so incredibly fast, man. It's crazy. Dude, sight. What's up, dude? Yo, GG's on that win last night, bro. I actually watched the majority of a period of the game because I'm just so psyched about hockey being back, and I was like, the Stars aren't playing, dude. I'll go watch the Habs. So, they pulled it out, dude. I told you, man. It's the cup for the Habs this year, dude. No tanking for you guys. What's up, dude? How are you doing? PlayStation Plus adding over 20 new PS5 and PS4 games in October. So this month still. PS Plus is about to add over 20 new games that will be accessible across PS5 and PS4 in the coming week. While October's free games for PS Plus Essential subscribers are already live, those who are members of PS Plus Extra and Plus Premium have been left wondering what new titles might be arriving for these tiers in the month. While Sony took a bit longer than expected to unveil this slate, we now know what it will be comprised of. Oh, I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I just, I figured, I'm just psyched about hockey. Dallas is my team. Dallas will always be my team, dude. But Bell Center, best NHL venue, yeah. I haven't been to very many, dude. I've been to crowd was roaring. Dude, I've been I've been to a lot of minor league rinks, dude. arenas. But I think the only pro I've been to is the Shark Tank out in San Jose. That was that dude, and that was against the Stars. So I was rooting for the Stars. They were wild out there in San Jose, dude. I'll tell you that. They were all about the Sharks. It was a cool venue. It really was. Yeah. I mean, I'll give them that. I'm not even a Sharks fan, but they were all about it out there. Yeah. Arriving next week on October 18th, Sony will add 23 games in total that are playable via PS Plus. Of this total, 16 of these titles will be available for PS Plus Extra and Premium subscribers, while the other 7 will be part of the platform's Classics library, which means that only those that who are members of PS Plus Premium will be able to play these games. As a whole, this lineup is comprised of entries from numerous different big-name franchises that are popular on PS5 and PS4. Not only is a beloved Grand Theft Auto game from the past joining PS Plus, but 5 Dragon Quest titles and 6 Assassin's Creed games will also land on the service. When it comes to classic games, nothing from PS1, PS2, or PSP is included this month. But Sony is adding 3 entries from the Yakuza series to go along with 4 other titles that stem from PS3. Look, honestly, I mean, I feel like PlayStation's really falling short on this area right here. PS1, PS2, and PSP, they have not done a whole lot with that area of their subscription service. So, that was a lot of the talk whenever the subscription service came out, and over the first 2 months, everybody's like, "Where are the game?" And it's still just not feeling great, I don't think. So here's the list of games. The premium classics are PS4, the Yakuza Remastered, 3, 4, and 5. So, here's the other big thing. There's been very, roughly no to this point Halloween-esque spooky vibe horror games or anything like that. So, we do see they are adding Limbo, Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I'm not sure what Ho-Ho-Come is. The Medium, and Inside on PS4. So at least there are a few titles, but I don't know if this is gonna satisfy everybody for what they might have been looking for in regards to some spooky vibe stuff for Halloween. If they're part of that subscriber base, I don't know. Wait, Fat Pat, what are you talking about? Elaborate for me, dude, because we're not talking about backwards compatibility, dude. We're just talking about the subscription service and the classic titles that are being offered on PS Plus. It's not necessarily a backwards compatibility issue. It's just the digital titles being offered on their subscription service. In regards to backwards compatibility, everything that I have read and information that I have been exposed to in regards to backwards compatibility, their only issue with actually being able to incorporate backwards compatibility on their platforms, their actual consoles, is PS3. They've already gotten everything done for PS1 and PS2. It's done. They've already done it on the PS3. PS3 Series 1 consoles are backwards compatible. Yeah, I mean, so this is just in regards to like all we're talking about is like the subscription service, right? So digital, and they've already released like, so here I'll show you. PS Plus, so list all PS1, PS2, and PSP classics on PS Plus Premium. So this is all the games already that you can play. So that's a non-factor. What you're talking about is just backwards compatibility. Dude, my throat is jacked up this morning. I'm sorry. Backwards compatibility in regards to their actual physical hardware, right? Like their consoles, as opposed to what their subscription service offers, which is the same thing as like PS Plus, the same thing as Xbox Game Pass, and Game Pass has old Xbox games that you can play, just like that's what PS Plus does with their premium subscription, right? You get access to what is supposed to be their catalog of available PS1, PS2, and like PSP games, yeah. And so they're actually playable. These are like playable titles and everything. And the same thing like Switch does. So they legit have titles that are already playable on the subscription service. But PlayStation themselves just are not nice about backwards compatibility. Now, everything that I have educated myself on to this point in regards to Sony's capabilities seems to tell me that they actually have the capability to do backwards compatibility on their consoles for PS1, PS2, PS4. So if they went like on their PS5 console, they could literally do backwards compatibility for everything but the PS3 right now. The PS3 is the big obstacle. It would take more money, more manpower, but they still are only making the PS5 backwards compatible with PS4. And this is one of the things we've talked about a lot. Sony just doesn't care, you know? It's one of those things where, and I mean, where did you get that information about the PS1 and PS2 issues with the architecture and everything? Where did that come from? Because I'm absolutely like, if I'm wrong about something, I will absolutely admit it. And I would love to see some, literature or research that can confirm that. Yeah, I know that, and yeah, you're right. That's why it was only on certain models. The first edition, that's what I've actually told people. Like, if you can get your hands on the first models of PS3 that came out, that's like your best option for getting your backwards compatibility going. If you don't have like a PS1 and a PS2 and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. So, at this point, currently, everything that I have found out about what is going on with PlayStation is just a matter of them not really caring to give people access to backwards compatibility. Is the most of it. That's one of the things that I kind of harp on PlayStation for right now, to be honest. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, man. Yeah. So that was the very first models of PS3 that came out are backwards compatible with PS1 and PS2. But the models that came after that are not of the PS3s. And now the PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4. So ultimately, if you had a really nice collection of PlayStation games through the history of their consoles, what you could do is potentially get yourself a Model 1 PS3 that ran well, and that could be set up to run your PS1, PS2, PS3 games, and then you could get a PS5 optical version PS5 to run your PS4 and your PS5 games. That would be an option. How easy it would be right now to get a nice quality Model 1 PS3, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. But ultimately, everything that I know and have educated myself on is that PlayStation's only obstacle is PS3 backwards compatibility. But they just don't want to add everything into the PS5. And I think a lot of it has to do with they want people buying into their subscription service. And ultimately, that just feels bad to me. As far as I'm concerned, if somebody's been buying games since PS1, PS2 days, whatever, and they've held on to those titles, that shows that they've been a consumer and a fan of your company and platform for that long. And why not give them the ability to play those titles even on a modern platform if you have that capability, other than the fact that you're just a greedy corporation? You know what I mean? And then what you want people to do is, even though they own that physical title, you want them to go out and either pay more money to play the title again through your subscription service, or you want them to buy that title as a digital product so they own it both physically and digitally. You know what I mean? So that's one of my big harps on PlayStation right now, is that they have these capabilities and they're just not implementing it because they're greedy, dude. You know? And that feels bad. So thanks for the talk there. I appreciate it. But that's what I have found out so far about what all is going on in regards to that. This specifically that we're getting at is just their subscription service, right? But that is good talk right there in regards to what PlayStation isn't doing for their fan base, actually. As opposed to somebody like Xbox, who has done a pretty good job at trying to incorporate different ways to give people access to their titles in backwards compatibility and stuff like that. So, I don't know, man. Again, I think the big thing here to take away is we do see a few spooky-ish, Halloween-ish games, but I don't think it's anything that a whole lot of people are going to get like super psyched about. So we'll see. Grand Theft Auto Dragon Quest headline: PS Plus extra games for October. Yeah, this is what we just read about. Yep. So I won't hash that out again. Let me shout you out, buddy. What you been playing, Fat Pat? What you been playing, dude? Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with Fat Pat, go take a look at Born into Fear. What is Born into Fear, dude? What is that? If you guys aren't familiar with Fat Pat, amazing individual, another streamer, and show some of that outsider love. Go throw a follow, please, if you wouldn't mind. All right. What is Born into Fear, man? I don't think I'm familiar with that. Yeah, this is also something we're not necessarily. This is also more of just what we looked at. Yeah. Korean game developer Lionheart is latest to shelve IPO plan. Cacao. An indie spooky game. Is it good? Are you enjoying it? Oh, it's kind of a short title. But was it good? I mean, not really replayable. Okay. Right on. Yeah, I mean, that's like we just played through Little Nightmares yesterday. We're going to play through Little Nightmares 2 today. And Little Nightmares was really cool. It wasn't very long, but it was really cool. Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Right on. Have you played any other, have you been playing horror games this month? Is that like the jam for you? Kind of like we're doing here? Oh, dude, we're not going to be able to read this. I'm sorry, guys. This is Bloomberg. I got to stay away from that site. I always open their sites up, not realizing where it's from initially. Sorry. Here we go. Intel reportedly set to lay off thousands as PC gaming market cools. Oh, okay. Oh, right on. What else do you have planned, dude? What else do you have planned? Intel's layoffs come as the PC market contracts upwards of 12%. Intel is reportedly looking to lay off thousands of employees as early as this month. The news comes amidst a downturn in the PC gaming market and ongoing supply chain issues and inflationary pressures. Sources speaking to Bloomberg said Intel could announce the layoffs when it posts its third quarter earnings report on October 27th. The company already slashed its profit projection by $11 billion back in July when it warned of increased chip prices due to rising production costs caused by inflation and the global chip shortage. The increases are expected later this year and could be between 10 to 20%. After Intel's second quarter earnings call, CEO Pat Gelsinger said that the chip maker will look to take additional actions in the second half of the year in order to cut costs. Bloomberg's analyst said that cutting its workforce could reduce its costs between 10 to 15%, saving it 25 to 30 billion. The layoffs are expected to be focused largely on Intel's sales and marketing departments, which could see reductions as high as 20%. Good night, dude. The news comes amidst a global downturn in the PC gaming market, which is in its sharpest decline in 9 years. According to a report released last summer, the ongoing war in Ukraine, inflation, and downturn in demand for Chromebooks in India and Africa are largely to blame, but so are the continuing disruptions to the global supply chain. The PC market contracted 12.6% in the first half of 2022, although it's expected to bounce back next year. Sources said Intel attempted to stave off layoffs throughout the initial public offering of Mobileye, the self-driving tech company Intel purchased in 2017. That IPO is earmarked to fund a massive new silicon chip complex in Ohio, but rising costs have sucked up everything Intel is expected to receive from investors. EVGA, meanwhile, isn't planning any layoffs despite completely shutting down its GPU division. We read about this a few weeks ago. EVGA basically came out and was like, you know what? NVIDIA is kind of a crap company to work with, and we're done. We're done working with them, which is wild. The move comes after a long-standing beef over NVIDIA's business practices boiled over with the release of the RTX 4000 series, despite losing 80% of the company's revenue. EVGA CEO Andrew Han promised no layoffs and everyone would simply be reassigned. Devea, what's up? I'm great, my friend. How are you? Fat Pat. So lots of Intel layoffs coming, man. That feels bad for people affected. That's terrible. Game was bundled with 2 others, Test of Courage and it was worth it. Those may be Outlast and Darkwood if it releases like it says. Darkwood. I thought Darkwood was already out, dude. Doing wonderful? Great. Devea, that's awesome, man. Darkwood. Yeah, Darkwood's been out for a long time, man. Oh, dude, Darkwood's been out since 2017, man. I mean, it actually looks like a really cool game, but it's been out for a very long time. Are you talking about a different game? So we're starting Scorn tomorrow. Oh, that's Epic Game Store? Yeah, Darkwood's been out for a while, dude. Yeah. But it's supposed to be excellent, dude. Like, oh, yeah. It's supposed to be an excellent game. 94% positive of over 12,000 reviews. It's supposed to be a really, really cool game. I've seen a little bit of it, actually. Not too much, but it's supposed to be a nice little title. I hope you have fun with it. Outlast, dude. I'm actually playing the Outlast series as well. Oh, we're great. I mean, I'm great. I think everybody else is good, too. Thanks for asking, Devea. I'm glad you're doing well. Oh, Choo Choo Charles? Dude, Choo Choo Charles looks awesome, Fat Pat. I want to play that so bad. That game looks awesome, dude. Yeah, that's on my wish list, dude. That's on my wish list. Hold on. Yeah, that's on my wish list, man. Yeah, it looks like that's not coming out until December, though. December 9th. Yeah. Yeah, December 9th here, Mark. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. That game looks sick, though, dude. I agree. Yeah, I'm really psyched about that one, man. But yeah, we're playing the so far we've done Fear 3, which was something we needed to finish that we didn't get done last year. So we started off with Fear 3. We did Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, Little Nightmares 1. We're doing Little Nightmares 2 today. We're going to do Scorn starting tomorrow because it drops tomorrow. Then we're going to do Dead Space 3. Then I'm going to do Outlast 1 and 2. Yeah. So this whole month for me is just all horror, man. Yeah. Wizards of the Coast launches new studio Invoke Games built from Dark Alliance dev team. Dark Alliance was, I didn't play it, but widely regarded as trash. Wizards of the Coast has opened a new video game development studio in Montreal, which is already working on a new D&D title. The new company, Invoke Studios, is a reorganization and rebranding of Took Games, which Wizards acquired in 2019. Took subsequently developed the 2021 action RPG Dark Alliance for Wizards. Invoke is headed by Wizards VP and General Manager Dominic Guay. Before joining Wizards in 2021, Guay spent 15 years at Ubisoft Montreal, where he was a senior producer on the first two games in the open world Watch Dogs series. Invoke Studios is specifically described by Wizards as a AAA studio, which is video game industry shorthand for a big studio working on large-scale, high-budget projects that only care about money. At its launch, Invoke has 80 employees on its development team with stated plans by Guay to increase it to over 200 by 2025. Maybe you need to hit up some contacts or something, Devea, and in the entertainment industry, and see what you can get working on it. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to try to see if you can find somebody that knows Hideo Kojima. You know what I mean? Kojima's always collaborating with actors and everything for these big high-profile games and stuff. And Kojima likes doing these dark, eerie kind of titles and everything. So that's where you need to start. Go tweet at Hideo Kojima, Devea, and start getting that worked on. You know, I'm on board. I'll play it. I need early access though, okay? Yeah. I need early access though for giving you the idea there to hit up Kojima, all right? Invoke and Wizards have not offered any further details, but since it's a AAA game, it could be a few years before the project's ready to show the public. Miss being active? Yeah, I'm sure. Montreal is a significant hub for the international video game industry. How's all the family doing? With more than 200 studios operating within the city limits, including divisions within Ubisoft, Montreal, EA, Gameloft, Eidos, and Amazon Games. This is due to generous local tax subsidies, which started in the 90s as a deliberate attempt to lure the games industry into Montreal. Invoke is one of 6 video game studios that Wizards of the Coast has opened in North America. The others are Skeleton Key. This was, I think, one of their more recent ones, right? Yeah, opened last summer in Austin, which is working on an unspecified AAA project of its own. Archetype Entertainment, also in Austin. Atomic Arcade in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is currently working on a G.I. Joe game, and 2 unnamed locations in Washington State. Wizards recently inked a 110,000 square foot lease at the new Southport project in Renton, Washington. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see, right? Family's good? Good. I'm glad. I'm going to hold you to that early access thing. All right. Oh, you've been spending time with your brother lately. That's cool. That's cool. Right on. Yeah, it was really good. You know, I took about a week and went home back in August. You know, the stream was down. I went home back in August. It was the first time I had gotten to be home and spend time with my siblings in a while, and it was really good. Yeah, got to go to a family wedding and everything. Actually, my sister just sent me some pictures of the wedding, the reception mainly, and it was really good. I had a great time. It was cool to see family. I don't get to go back very often. I don't get to see my family very often, but it was a really, really good visit. Family, I got to see a ton of family. I got to see my immediate family. Like, I got to spend a lot of time with my parents. I got to spend a lot of time with my siblings, including my very best friend who is like a brother to me. And a lot of cousins and uncles and aunts that I hadn't seen in a long time and stuff. It was pretty wild. I hadn't seen in years. You know, pretty nuts. It was great. So we'll see what happens here with Wizards of the Coast. Dark Alliance was again not well received. People did not like that game very much, and yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about another kind of fail on their part, we're talking about Magic the Gathering ARPG game that they tried to push out. Like that one got destroyed as well, and so they're talking about their AAA studio and they're make AAA games, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. Wizards of the Coast announces, yep. So new D&D game. This is what we just talked about, but I had come across multiple articles that had kind of different titles that could have potentially been about the same thing, and that's what this is. So we're not going to dive into that either. Last article I have for the morning, okay, and then we're gonna hop into our Little Nightmares 2 playthrough. All right. So if anybody has anything else to add for today's news segment, let me know in chat. Anything that might be pertinent to the video gaming industry, and I will address it before we move on as soon as I finish this article, okay? Even if every Call of Duty player switched to Xbox, Microsoft says PlayStation would remain significantly larger. The back and forth between all this is actually really wild. Microsoft has responded to the CMA's concerns about its almost $70 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition. In a statement provided, we saw an article yesterday. It was a really good article, actually. This entire time that this potential acquisition has been going down, there's been a lot of back and forth between Microsoft going, this is not going to result in a significantly skewed anti-competitive environment in the gaming industry. Sony goes, yes, it is. And Microsoft goes, well, here, let's come to some agreement where you're saying Call of Duty is the big unique thing in this that's going to result in this issue. Here's an extension to keep it on your platform. Even though we didn't get the details of that, Sony goes, not good enough. Anti-competitive. Not good enough, anti-competitive. And who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't a good enough offer. And but maybe it was. And maybe PlayStation just shot it down because they want everything to seem as anti-competitive as possible, because they don't want Microsoft to be able to purchase Activision Blizzard. Because this is a huge thing for them. But ultimately, when you come take a look at it, since PlayStation and Xbox have been a thing, PlayStation has roughly outsold Xbox consoles 2-1 throughout the history of their consoles, So it's really kind of a wild thing to constantly be addressing and seeing. And yesterday we saw an article. Dang, bruh. You too. You a little snack, bruh. What's up, Wick? So 9.3 out of 100. Thanks, dude. What's up, buddy? There was a really good article yesterday where, Microsoft had been kind of calm about this whole thing. And yesterday they came out with an article that was basically where Microsoft had shot back at the CMA in the UK and went, you guys are basically siding with your bias. You're siding with PlayStation's concerns. You're not seeing this in the grand scheme of things. And PlayStation are the ones that are anti-competitive. They don't want to see this through because they have had a lock on the video gaming industry for a long time. They don't want that to change, and they're the ones being anti-competitive because they don't want this to go through. So they're putting a whole different spin on this. We saw that yesterday. So in a statement provided by GameIndustry.biz, Microsoft said that the Competition and Markets Authority concerns about the deal are misplaced and claims that even if every single Call of Duty player switched to playing on Xbox, that PlayStation gamer base remaining would still be significantly larger than Xbox. These comments seem to be in response to the CMA's concerns that if the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal were to go through, there is a realistic prospect of a substantial lessening of competition in gaming consoles, multi-game subscription services, and cloud gaming services. If you didn't know, the CMA in the UK has sent the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal to the second phase of its investigation. This means that a panel of experts would look more closely at the deal's potential issues highlighted in phase 1. While Sony may not welcome increased competition, the statement from Microsoft reads, it has the ability to adapt and compete. Gamers will ultimately benefit from this increased competition and choice. In the same story, GamesIndustry.biz reveals that Microsoft is still eager to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation consoles, as not doing so would alienate the fan base and tarnish both the Call of Duty and Xbox brands. Don't forget either, okay? One really bad thing that would come of Call of Duty only being on Xbox moving forward would mean that all Sony would have left is Battlefield. Meaning, that's not all they would have left, but Battlefield and Call of Duty have traditionally been like these competitors, right? And if Battlefield does not have Call of Duty to compete with anymore, not that it did them very much good this year, but it gave people something else to play other than Battlefield. So it allowed Battlefield to tank as it should have, because that game was trash, right? But if Call of Duty does not stay on PlayStation moving forward, it allows EA to do what they've done for so long in having another game be on its own virtually, not have very much competition anymore, and not have to worry about the quality of the game and just go, people will still play it. It's all they got, you know? And that sucks. We don't need any more of that crap from EA. So don't forget that fact. In other Microsoft acquisition news, last week it was discovered that Microsoft now has a webpage about why its Activision Blizzard deal is good for everyone. It contains several statements. I'll talk about this. We've seen this already too, and I'll talk about this. It contains several statements from higher-ups of the company, including Microsoft's gaming CEO, Phil Spencer, whom, look, I'm a fan of this individual. He seems, while also, a very good business mind, he seems like, at the core, a gamer, dude. And it's hard not to like somebody like that. Microsoft's Vice Chair, Brad Smith, and Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, the latter of which said in an interview not even a full month ago yet that Microsoft is confident about the Activision Blizzard acquisition despite the CMA's concerns. Okay, look. There's two sides to everything, right? So we saw this previously in a news segment, and this is one of the main things I brought up. For anything that you can make a list of benefits, you can make a list of cons as well, right? So keep that in mind. Now, obviously, Microsoft and Xbox don't want you to think about the cons. They only want you to think about the benefits, right? And ultimately, look, I think that all in all, in everything that I know about the situation, I think that the Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard is probably a better thing overall. Is it going to result in some anti-competitiveness? Absolutely. Because inherently, any kind of acquisition that happens is going to result in some amount of removing competition from an industry. Doesn't matter what industry it is. That's the way it works, right? But a big acquisition like this is going to be more anti-competitive. There's no doubt about it. But Activision Blizzard, I think, needs to be bought by a company like Microsoft that can go in and right the ship, you know, get things working well again. And I don't know, man. There are a lot of ins and outs to this. I think a lot of people are going to see it a lot of different ways. And I'm not really trying to be short-sighted about this. Like pulling this up, you know, Xbox wants people to just see the benefits. That's not all there is to it, right? That's not all there is to it. Anytime you can list out benefits, there's going to be a list of cons as well. But obviously, they're not going to list that because they don't want you to think about that, right? So there's always going to be good and bad. I think overall this is going to be a better thing for Xbox to be able to acquire Activision Blizzard. If Microsoft makes its Xbox exclusive, who doesn't get to play the game? Makes it people that already own a PlayStation, right? Right. Some people are. I think that's the big thing, and that's why Call of Duty specifically, dude, has become such a big issue with this acquisition, right? That's why it is at the forefront of these talks. It's not, just the portfolio of everything that Xbox is going to be acquiring along with this, like this entire catalog of games. It's not that. It's Call of Duty specifically, right? Right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I've talked a lot about that as well, right? Xbox doesn't make money on their consoles. They only make money on their software and on like their subscription service and stuff, right? Right, exactly. Game Pass. Absolutely. So, this is a huge thing for them, adding more content to their subscription service. It's a significant amount of content to their subscription service. And Call of Duty is a big deal. Look, I mean, you want to talk about player base, Call of Duty player base. It's absolutely insane, right? So right now, you're looking at Call of Duty Warzone, 42% on PlayStation. This is why PlayStation's going to throw a fit, right? 25% on Xbox, 28% on PC, 3.9% on mobile. So, and what's the see? And we're just talking about one single game here, right? But this is usually the way it works for Call of Duty games. 98 million active users. Live players 304,000. It's a very, very popular game, right? And it always has a huge amount of people playing the games. Call of Duty does. That's why, obviously, why PlayStation continues to call it a unique title, and Microsoft goes, it's not, because they don't want it to look unique. It's something. So, I mean, if you take into consideration that of all these players that play this game, half of them are on PlayStation, right? That's why PlayStation's scared. That's why PlayStation's scared. And if you take into account that there are going to be probably at least a chunk of that percentage of players. So say, 25 million active players that are on PlayStation's console, that a chunk of those 25 million actually don't care to play anything else but Call of Duty and actively went out and bought a PlayStation just to play Call of Duty. Yeah, it's gonna change the market over a little bit, right, for console wars. But I mean, again, PlayStation's trying to call this anti-competitive when PlayStation, and we've even seen the numbers previously on our news segment, PlayStation has outsold Xbox in consoles. Virtually every single console throughout the history of these two console manufacturers, 2-1. PlayStation has outsold Xbox double. You know what I mean? Always. And so it's not even really going to put Xbox close to still selling as it's not even going to level the playing field. It just won't. But PlayStation really does not want this to happen because it's a big thing for Microsoft, and they don't want Microsoft to have any kind of advantage in this business, right? Well, yeah, and dude, I've talked a lot about that here recently too, Wick. PlayStation looks terrible right now. Whether you talk about them not allowing people to buy, you want to talk about being anti-competitive, they made it to where you can't buy digital game codes on any other platform anymore. You have to buy it on the PlayStation Store, and they raised the prices, right? And that's probably what you're talking about. Then they raised the prices of all their PlayStation consoles around the world, everywhere except for, I think, either just the US. I think it's just the US, right? They've also done this really weird crap with the Stars program, even to the extent of giving priority support to people that pay more money or buy more games, basically, right? Buy more games, get a higher tier in their Stars reward program that is just supposed to reward people for playing on their platform and everything, and you get a higher queue for support, right? Like, dude, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that PlayStation's been doing that makes this company not look like a company focused anymore at all on caring about their consumer, caring about gamers, And that's why I've said this here recently a lot. I've always been a fan of PlayStation over any other console, and I'm not anymore. I really, about a year ago, if you'd asked me, like, if I was going to buy a new console, what would it be? It would have been PlayStation 5. And now there's no way. There's no way. As a matter of fact, if I bought a new console right now, it would be an Xbox. And a lot of that has to do with the differences between what I see the directions of these companies heading. It's not the content. It's not the content that these companies provide necessarily. It's the directions that I see these companies headed. And the faces of the companies. Phil Spencer, dude, sign me up, dude. I'm on board. Everything that I see from Phil Spencer, man, is like, I like that dude. PlayStation is just a bunch of like nothing. There's nobody. I have no idea who to attribute to like who that company is, what they stand for, other than like a dollar sign. That's it. And I don't know. It's really concerning, man. Ultimately, I think that Microsoft should, everything that I know about it, and look, there's always pros and cons. I think it's a better deal, all in all, to let Microsoft follow through with this acquisition. And I don't know all the ins and outs, and but everything I know just about the gaming world, the gaming industry, and what it means, everything that we've educated ourselves on through these news segments, I think it's a better deal. I think it's better all the way around. And that's what I got. Do I have a good avocado smoothie recipe? I don't. But avocados are amazing. They are packed full of healthy fats. And what you might be able to do is turn it into a really nice chocolate avocado smoothie. Take a look at that. We've actually made, what is it? Chocolate. What kind of chocolate was it? We've made legit just out of like avocado, like cocoa powder and some sweetener, made a chocolate kind of puree before, dude, that didn't taste like avocado at all. And it's because the fats in avocado are so good. I don't know. You look into it, dude. Look into it. You might have something there. So, unless some people actually want it to taste like avocado, and then I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll try to think about it. That's the news, man. That's the news. You guys rock. I appreciate you. Great news segments as always, man. I love it. If you're viewing this content on YouTube and you're enjoying the news that we're covering in regards to the video gaming industry, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and the rest of these amazing people that are part of this community. Whenever we go live at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day, we start off all of our streams with video gaming news before we hop into whatever video gaming content we have slated for the rest of the day, okay? other than that, you guys just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. And we'll catch everybody tomorrow for October 14th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?